Oh, we are live.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing good. It's your girl Sika in the house with her co pilot, Ikwamwa, in the house. We're here today to talk about the life abroad, some of the difficulties that can occur when you're deciding to live abroad, the loneliness. We're not here to say that there aren't opportunities abroad, but you also have to look at the whole situation in a holistic manner and actually understand what it is that you're signing up for. I, for example, would tell you, having had the opportunity to live in three different countries, that the life in Canada is a whole new different level. Uh, if you're one that wants to have fun and excitement, there's certain parts of Canada that might be for you, but to the detriment of other things. But if you come here with a purpose and you decide that the purpose is that you better your life, then where I'm at is one of the places that you would choose to live, which may mean that it may cost you some very good friends and social living. I wouldn't say much more. I'm just going to allow my special, distinguished guest, who has a lot more experience in the subject matter, to talk about this issue. Yes, you do. To talk about this. And then I'll come back and tell you how it's been for me over the last 5 years in Canada. The joys, the pains, the cries, the tears, everything. And then we'll have a meaningful discussion here. Sekwamwa, you're welcome. The floor
Oh,
is
thank
yours.
you, Sika. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sika. Thank you for having me this afternoon. First of all, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be here this afternoon. I want to say hello to all your followers, all your fans. I
Yes.
also want to encourage everyone, please share this video. Also, please send Sika some stars. Appreciate her by sending her some stars, okay? Because it takes a lot of time. Time is measured in the
Monday.
units of money.
Monday. Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so please send Sika some love, okay? Sika, do you have a PayPal account? You need to put a PayPal account so people can send you money
I do have
if
one.
they. So
The
please
the
put it up.
yeah. Okay, I'll do
Put it
that now.
up. Put it up so that people can share you some love by sending you some PayPal. Please, if you love me alone and if you want me to keep coming and sharing some nuggets here and there, please show Sika some love by sending her some money through PayPal. Doesn't matter, $5, $10, whichever way means possible, because all of these technology she has to pay in order for me to sit in my house and join her. She needs to pay for it. It's not free. Okay, so let's send Sika some love. Okay. Today I actually saw a trending video that's been trending on TikTok. I saw it on Instagram this morning. I also saw it trending on Twitter about a lady that has migrated to Canada, and she's in tears and crying because she feels lonely. Okay, so the reason why I told Sika is that let's talk about this because this is an opportunity to save somebody's life or an opportunity to really change someone's life. One of the things that if you're listening to us, one of the things that we all need to know, and I'm employing community leaders. This is a conversation for community leaders, people who are leading organization in the diaspora. If you're part of an African association or any organization that you might have, whether it's the Ethiopian association or whether it is the Nigerian association, the Cameroonian, Ghanaian, all of those associations that we have in the diaspora, time for everybody, especially if you are in Canada or you're in the United States or you're in the United Kingdom, in all this developed world, okay? One of the things that is happening is we have what they call the baby boomers, and these baby boomers are now have reached retirement age. Unfortunately, the baby boomers did not have a lot of children. Their birth rates was really, really low. So now in all these developed world, they're looking for a much more younger population to match up with the retirement of the baby boomers. Fortunately, we in the developed nations have a lot of young, capable men and women who are either unemployed or who are under employed or who lack opportunities. Okay. So we having this whole phenomenon of the Japa system happening everywhere. The Nigerians are calling it Japa. Ghanaians, everybody's leaving, right? Anybody that has opportunity to travel abroad is leaving and coming abroad. I know for one that Canada has, in the last year and a half, has accepted almost 1 million new immigrants. That is a significant milestone because it made our population move to 40 million. It's taking forever for our population to go to 40 million. But with this, we've gone to 40 million. We're also expecting another 7 million people within the next less than 10 years. So with all of this comes many, many responsibilities and many different things that needs to happen. Because when people are coming, they need to have systems in place that will support them. And the people who are also coming, they need to make sure that they are well equipped and understand what they're coming to. Okay. So this brings us back to our sister who is in tears and had never found him in her life, never thought in her life that this place, Canada, can be so lonely, right? That there was no place for her to find friendship. Okay. So if you're one of those people who have just come into the country, or maybe you received your visa, or you're aspiring to move, please bring your pen and paper. Okay. Because moving is another thing. But moving and assimilating is also another thing. Okay. If you don't take time, you're gonna come here and you number one, you're gonna be frustrated.
Yep.
Number two, if you don't take time, you come here and you wish you could turn back. But the people back home be like, oh, you're so fortunate that you get the opportunity to travel abroad, blah 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 blah. What are you complaining about? Because if you look at some of the comments behind the woman, the ladies' videos, you'll be like, but the thing is like people are not going to be empathetic with you because some people, where they are, but I like one comment someone put. Somebody said, what? If we can fix our own country, then we'll not have to leave, right?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
right now, we're not, most of us are not in the situation whereby we have countries that can even be fixed,
Hmm.
right? Or even, I doubt that some of these countries are even fixable,
Yeah.
right? But there's always hope for tomorrow. But now we have to confront the problems that we have right now. Loneliness. Loneliness. How do you deal with loneliness?
Hmm.
After you have traveled abroad, or after you have japa, or after you have left your friends, your family, you're leaving your childhood friends, right? And you're leaving all of that behind, and you're gonna come to a country brand new. Some of you, somebody shared, it was even funny that Sky, I just remember the story somebody shared with me, right? Of somebody that just migrated here 2 years ago, and their child went to school in Ottawa, and the child was bullied to the point that the child called it quits.
Hmm.
The child called it quits. And when I mean called it quits, that's a word that Facebook and YouTube does not allow us to say. The child actually went to the other side to be with the Lord. Yes. Because you're coming in and out. So I don't know if it's me.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Yes. Because the child was bullied, right? So loneliness. So if you're a parent, you're bringing your child here, you're migrating. This was a 12-year-old child, right? You are migrating into a new country. You need to talk about loneliness. We
Hmm.
need to deal with this. Okay. Either you will be lonely or your spouse will be lonely, even if you travel with your spouse. When you come, it's not guaranteed that both of you will get the same job,
Mm-hmm.
working the same shift. He might
Mm-hmm.
be going, you might be coming. Last time somebody shared a story of how they exchange their kids at the train station, right?
Hmm.
All these things are happening.
Hmm.
So you have to not just get up and japa or get up and move to the diaspora. You have to think about the point in your life where you're going to be lonely, right? Whether it's going to be loneliness as you feel by yourself, or loneliness in the middle of the crowd, or loneliness when you enter the classroom if you're here to school, right? Where you don't find a way how you're going to relate to the people around you and your children that you're bringing, right? How they themselves emotionally, psychologically, and physically are going to integrate back into the system. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's what brings us to this topic, loneliness. How do we overcome loneliness? And please, if you're watching us and you're in the comment section, please put in how you overcome your own loneliness. We want to hear from everybody. We want this to be a learning session for everyone. We want it to be very interactive. And also, don't forget to share. Sika, I'm going to pause here for you to interject.
Thank you so much, darling. I'll share a little bit of my own experience. Um, as a little child growing up, going from England to Ghana, back to England. In England, it wasn't too bad for me because even though I didn't have my immediate family, my parents, my siblings in England with me as an adult, I had a lot of extended family members. My parents both had siblings who had children that lived in Europe, England, France, Germany. So it wasn't, I never felt lonely that much because there was always some auntie or somebody down the road that you could go to. You can go and have dinner. I had my grandmom like a 10-minute drive from my house. So it didn't feel anything. It's just like an extension of home. And then in my late 30s, I make this decision to move from England to Canada. Canada is amazing. There's a lot of opportunity, I agree. But if your mindset, if you come with some kind of expectations and a particular mindset, thinking that it's going to be an extension of Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, Nairobi, wherever you're watching from, I can guarantee you it's nothing like that. Everybody is busy in their own cocoon, living their life, trying to make ends meet. You're coming from a foreign country with your own experience. It doesn't matter what your profession is, teacher, doctor, engineer, whatever. You come to a country like Canada, and the first thing they're asking for when you're trying to get into your profession is Canadian experience in that profession of yours. And because of that, there's so many people, highly educated, qualified people that haven't had the opportunity to do what they were doing back home. They're engineers, they're doctors, they're nurses, they're dentists that have had to find survival jobs in most cases because they've immigrated with their family. And you've got to have a roof over your family's head, feed them before you can think about this dream job of yours. I see that our brother Choco Milone and a few other people have been doing a lot of great work about helping people to immigrate abroad. And kudos to him. Like that brother, what he does is amazing. God bless him. But the truth of it is that if you don't research, if you don't understand what it is that you're getting yourself into, you would come to the country and be highly disappointed. I came and I was fortunate enough through the little circles that I have to meet Ekuamua, my sister in next to me here. But even with that, it was hard because here I came from a country with 15 plus years experience in urban planning and engineering, thinking, oh, I could just come in and I'll just find a job doing the same sort of thing. And it did not go like that. There's so many barriers that are put in place for you to be able to assimilate into the system. That in itself is a source of depression. And I came around the time where it was just in the year to COVID. And then COVID happened. I thought I was going to lose my mind. If I didn't have people like Ekuamwa, relatives around that would talk to me, advise me, don't give up this, I would have lost my mind. And so my heart goes out to people, young students like this young girl who is sitting in her bathroom, bawling her eyes out about this whole issue. She's got nobody to talk to. If people would talk to her, they don't understand. They don't have a point of reference. A lot of people are coming to the country. English is not your first language. So you're talking to Canadians, you're talking to Americans, you're not slanging like they're slanging. They don't understand what you're saying. So they can't relate to you. They think you're weird. You talk funny. Your accent is funny. It is hard work. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm trying to empower people to come with a particular frame of mind, knowing that this is not going to be a cruise in the park. It's not going to be some easy ride. And when you come like that with no expectations, you're better able to manage your situation. It's hard. I cried. There were days when I felt like just packing bag and baggage and going back to my comfort zone, what I was used to, because I know England like the back of my hand. I was born and bred there. So I know how to navigate and get around. Now I'm in this place, this strange place, so bloody cold on top of everything. Minus 42-degree cold. Like, how am I going to cope with that? If you're not used to all these things, you'll be listening to us talking about it, but you're sitting here saying it, and look at you. You're looking so comfortable. Yeah, yes. But I could go for months, weeks on end without seeing anybody. It was hard. And so if you come with unrealistic expectations, thinking that manna is going to fall from heaven, everything is just going to dance around you, everything is going to fall on your lap, it's not like that. And Ekwamwa, before I give the mic, the thing back to you here, is that I have the experience based on what I do to also see that a lot of people come with certain types of visas, temporary permits, right? And think that they still should have the same opportunities that other people with permanent residence or green card and actual citizens of the land should have. And then come to find that it ain't like that. So you've had children, you've come with your 2 or 3 or 4 children, they're less than 10 years old, there's so many needs, you have to feed them, clothe them, entertain them, and there's no job forthcoming that is paying you enough to be able to look after them. And now you're finding that there ain't no social assistance available to you neither, because you don't qualify. It is hard. So understand that it is hard. Be prepared to come and grind hard and have a strategy in place for the long haul. Some of my people, our own people, don't want to assimilate into anything Oyibo. Don't want to do anything Caucasian. I want to be able to, if you're Nigerian, you only want to roll with Nigerians. If you're Ghanaian, you only want to roll with my darling, you will be very lonely for a very long time. You don't assimilate into anything. You find a job. At the end of the month, they're all going out for coffee. Instead of going out with them, listening to what they have to say, because that's where they can relax and be themselves. Somebody would just say one sentence, one nugget, and that could be the thing that changes your life. So don't be isolated, closed. Don't want to talk to Igbo. I don't want to have any friends with them. They are this, they are that. Whether you like it or not, it is their land and you are living on it. So if you want to have the best that the land has to offer, you have to have an open mind. Keep an open mind and form associations with people. Don't close the door. Otherwise, you will cry. Ikuamwa, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Sika, for such awesome points. And I just want to add to what you just said about researching and knowing, right? Most of the time when you're listening to many people, and I know there's a lot of people who are doing many videos on YouTube and all those things, I just want to exercise caution to everyone. When you're listening to them, you need to understand that when you're moving to places like Canada or United States, okay, the way of our government system is decentralized. Okay, it's a decentralized government system as opposed to the way most of the African democracies work, where things flow from the top to the bottom. Okay, what does that mean? That means that every province, if you move to Canada, Canada has provinces and territory. And every province and territory has different rules and different advantages and disadvantages as you migrate there.
Mm.
So before you even decide where you want to go, it's not
Mm.
just getting the Canadian visa, it
Mm.
is the place that you want to live
Mm.
that you have to research into to see what can I get,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
What benefits do I get? You have to do a benefit analysis to see, okay, if I live here, if I let's say right now, if I want to live in the province of British Columbia in Canada, as
Yes.
opposed to living in the province of Ontario, what
Yes.
are some of the advantages and what are some of the disadvantages? As a new immigrant or somebody who just has a temporary visa or student visa, what are some of the advantages for me?
Mm.
Every province has a different advantages,
Mm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
all of these things you have to research and
Yes.
know. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just pack your load and bring your kids abroad thinking that somehow there's going to be milk and honey flowing everywhere. Be
Mm.
very strategic in your move.
Mm.
Every move you make has to be very strategic,
Mm.
okay? In order to combat the stress, the depression, and possibly the loneliness that will come as a result of the move,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Be very, very cautious, right? I can definitely tell you right now, between the province of where we live, the province of Alberta, and the province of Ontario. In Alberta, we don't pay any provincial tax. So if I
Mm-hmm.
go to the store and I buy something, I'm only going to pay federal tax, which is just 5%. If you
Mm-hmm.
live in Ontario, you're going to pay, is it 13 or 14% tax, right? So
Yeah.
if I spend $100 here in Alberta, I'm only paying at 105. If you're Ontario, you're going to pay 100 and what? 13 or $14, depending on what you're buying, right? That alone is significantly different, right? So all of these things are things that we always want to make sure that we understand where we are going in order for us to be able to avoid some of these things where we find ourselves in a place where you are caught in a corner, where you feel like you are lonely, you feel like you've been deceived, you feel like you've been misled, right? Because information is available, but nobody is going to hand information to you. It is
Mm.
up to you as an individual to go and research and find the information that you need that pertains to your own situation, right?
Correct.
Because
Yes.
everybody's situation is unique,
Different.
everybody's situation is different, right? I know people who migrated to Canada and even before they got here, they already got a job interview and
Mm.
already had a job offer,
Mm.
right? Because of where they were moving to, right? There are some people too who have been here and 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, they don't even have a job. And
Mm.
this person was got an interview with a very big company in Canada,
Mm.
right? That they got the opportunity to work at. They didn't have to change their line of work. So their line of work they were in Africa, they came back, they came and already had a job offering that line of work, right? So learning about, does that mean that that is the same story for everybody? No,
No.
right? So understanding all of those things and learning how to strategically put yourself wherever you're going, whether you're going to Ireland or you're going to Scotland or you're going to America, always remember this. Our systems are decentralized, right? So whether it's the president or the prime minister does not have authority on a lot of things.
Mm.
And is the state, if you live in the United States, is the state that determine a lot of stuff. And when you are in the province, it's the same thing, right? So know all of these systems and how that works to your advantage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about, key things to avoiding loneliness in abroad. So if you're already here or you're planning to come, what can I do to avoid being lonely?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I would recommend is as you are here, even before you come, find organizations or clubs or I would say if you are find organizations that you can join. If you are in school, right? I remember when I was in university, we have the African Union or the some sort of black association, or if you are, let's say, like I studied anthropology, I'm an anthropologist, so I joined the Anthropology Society on in McMaster, right? On school campus. Join one of those clubs at school if
Mm.
you are in school,
Mm.
right? Join a club, join an association, right? A club is not where you go, it's not disco. It's an association where you connect with people, right?
Yeah.
So you want to connect with people. So either your African association that you have on campus or your black association you have on campus if you're black, if you're Indian, whatever you are, Asian, join the Asian association. If you can't join that, the whole school has a student union. Join your student union. When you are in your student union, some of the things that you're going to be doing is you're going to be learning to plan events. You're going to be learning how to do advocacy. You're going to
Yeah.
be learning how to research and get resources into the student body, right? All of those things, they are free. You don't have to pay for it, right? So join those organizations. So join a club, join an association, right? Let's say if you come and let's say you are a learned person, you're just here to look for a job, you can still join a club, join an organization,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many organizations out there. You can Google them. What are some of the non-profit organization? You can join your local library. The local library have clubs where people you can go play chess if you like chess, right? You can volunteer to go help kids with reading, or you can volunteer to go help kids with learning, or you can I actually know someone, Sika, and the person's job that the person actually does is he welcomes newcomers. That's all he does, right? As a volunteer position. So if you're a newcomer and you come into Calgary and you're linked with him, he will take you all over Calgary, show you where everything is, right? So join a club, volunteer with an organization, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, one of the things is that in the diaspora,
Yeah.
volunteer is a currency.
Mm.
What do I mean? You volunteer, and in exchange, what do you get back? Opportunities, you get relationship, you also
Yes.
get the ability to now to learn something that you don't know,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Because and all of those skills you get to put them on your resume. And when you put them on your resume, it open some maybe you might not even have a formal education for something, right? But because you have make that point to volunteer, you'll be able to be exposed to a lot of things that just sitting at home, isolating yourself, will not allow you to have,
Mm.
right? Maybe
Mm.
there's some skills that you didn't have, but because you're there now, maybe you start to learn bylaws, right? I will tell you, I'll just give you a quick example. Some there are some women, right, in my community, they are stay-at-home moms. Stay-at-home moms, they don't work, right? But they are heavily involved in their children's school. They served on the parent council board. And when they serve on those boards, they are able to now, deal with advocacy. They know how to they advocate the government to provide more funding. And then they're also able to learn how to organize the calendar schedules, do plan events, all of these things. There are people who are making millions of dollars doing these things. So you are learning a skill that will earn you money. As you learn these things, you too one day you can start your event management company or event planning thing, right? But you have to start from somewhere. So volunteer is a currency in the diaspora. Don't sit at home, watch TV, and don't wait till somebody comes and meet you. So spend your time volunteering. So the first thing, join a club, join an association, The second thing, the third thing is what? Volunteer, volunteer. I cannot stress that enough, especially if you come here and you're a student. Please volunteer. If you come here, you have a professional job. Find an organization that you can volunteer at least once a month. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to go every day. Some of them now, some volunteer you can even volunteer online, right? Last time I was on an organization and the Calgary Black Chambers of Commerce. I was there at their event, and they were looking for volunteer for someone to people to mentor and teach kids every Tuesday over Zoom. 2 hours. You can do that easily, right? You don't need to leave the comfort of your home. You don't even need to live in Calgary. You can volunteer with all those organizations. That's an opportunity for you to put your name out there, to make connection, to meet people, and then all of those things will open many doors for you. If you're a student, that's an opportunity for you to put your name out there, for you to possibly get a scholarship. So all of these things are there for you. So volunteer. Okay. The next thing I'll say is find supportive groups. Find supportive groups. There's so many groups out there that are there. I know during the pandemic, there's somebody that found a group where people who are lonely can connect, right? There are some I know of people who go to walks together, right? There are people who, if you live in Alberta, we have so many mountains, and people who go hiking together. So you can check on the internet. There are so many groups that you can join. So the weekends they'll go hiking, they'll drive to Banff, they'll drive to Cochrane, wherever. So all of those things are there. There's so many ways that you can make connection. You don't have to do it alone, right? You don't have to be lonely. And going back to Sika's point, some of us, we only want to associate with people who are the same color as us. That's a bad idea. You need to integrate yourself into the system so
Yes.
that you'll be able to and know the culture, understand the way they think, understand the way they make decisions, the way they do, right? And that will also know that will help you to be able to know, what am I supposed to do? Which direction am I supposed to take? Because remember, you're coming from some of us are coming from nations that everything is disorganized. Now you enter a country where everything is organized. How do you shift your mentality from a place of disorganized chaos to a place where everything is organized, unless you interact with those people so that
Yeah,
you'll be able to live and have that same mindset?
that's
Okay.
right.
Isolating yourself is going to be one of the most dangerous things you can ever do to yourself. It will set you back many, 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 many years, right? And Sika, you and I both know we've met people who have no clue why they're here, some of the things they're supposed to do, and because of that, they've been set back far, far, far behind, right? So it's important that you find a group that you associate with. You are not associating because of um um uh, because just because you need to have an aim. That's the
Yes.
reason why I'm saying that. Sit down, research, find the organization, right? There's an organization that what do you call it? If you're a new mom, they will come to your house. You can volunteer with a better health services. You go to new mom's house. If you've been a mother before, you can go help the new mom. All of those things, you are building relationship. You are expanding your scope of potential careers as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you are also allowing yourself to grow. Because one of the things about coming to the diaspora is that if you have a stagnant mindset, a mindset that you don't have a growth mindset,
Hmm.
you will, it's going to be hard for you. Okay, after you spend all of that money to Japan, or all of that money to leave, you cannot come and sit here with the same mindset that you had in Accra, or the
Mm.
same mindset you had in Lagos.
Hmm.
It's not going to help you. You're going to hit the wall of frustration,
Mm.
right? Because here, everybody has a right. If a dog has a right, so does a cat,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it's important that we understand all of these ways where we can combat loneliness.
Thank you so much, Ekuamwa. The one thing that you said that made me smile, and I thought I would re emphasize, is this whole thing about cultural appropriation. That's what I call it. And if you don't orientate yourself well so that you know what is acceptable to talk about and you know what is unacceptable as a joke, I'll give a classic example. In Ghana, right? Ikuamu, I'm sure you can relate to this. You can have work colleagues, you talk, you laugh, maybe you hit them on the shoulder or you touch them, you're just like that. And a lot of our African men are very giving with their hand like that, just tap you and touch you and hold you in some funny type of way. You can even put your hand across your work colleague's shoulder and all of that. Those things over here in the Jakpa land, it's not acceptable behavior. The fact that somebody is talking to you, laughing with you, asking you out for a tea or coffee break does not mean the person is giving you scholarship for anything else other than that. If you haven't read up about the culture to understand that having tea and coffee is just to sit down and, get to know each other a little bit better. People get to trust you more when they know a little bit more about you other than you sitting behind your computer and working, where you just say morning, evening, bye, and that's it. But some of our men don't understand that. There's actually somebody that I know who got into trouble in the States for that very reason, because he had this woman boss that is very, jovial, and she says all kinds of funny things and they have a laugh. He was invited out to go have dinner, and he read into that, oh, this woman is giving me scholarship and scholar votes. Oh, yeah. And he started behaving funny, said all kinds of crazy things. And now he's facing a legal suit over it. The woman is claiming he did this, he said that, he was chasing me, he was assaulting me, he was, be very, very careful. Some of the things that we say in Ghana, Nigeria, in Africa, and we think it's funny. Even going out and saying, when my children misbehave, I beat them. You beat your children. Eh? You beat your children. Do you know how much that can get you into trouble by saying things like that? So, we really need to integrate into the community. And the way to do that is to learn the culture. Sometimes you're talking to a work colleague and they say to you, don't be silly. In Ghana, I don't know about Nigeria, but in Ghana, a lot of people take, exception to that statement. Don't be silly. It's not an insult. What you're saying is silly. And they're telling you, don't be silly. But if you don't have the context, if you don't understand, don't be silly can become a whole thing. You need to understand the system, the culture, the people, their way of living before you get in with them. A lot of things, touching people, holding people, thinking it's funny. It's not funny. People can very easily, tag you with a certain thing, and that can be the end of your career. Something that you think is funny, it's normal. But this, when I do it to people in Ghana and Nigeria, they don't read anything into it. They laugh over it. Well, it ain't funny here. And the only way to know those things is to associate with the people. You will not sit in your home eating egusi and all of those things, fufu, and knowing those things. Sometimes you need to get out there. Some of us are so close-minded, like all I want is fufu and banku and egusi all the time. Like you're never going to get out there and try a pizza or eat something else. Integrate into the system, understand how things work. If you're not prepared to do that, and you think you can rise through the ranks in your professional career just by sitting at home, when they call Christmas party, you won't go. Oh, I don't want to go sit in the pub. I don't drink. They serve Coca-Cola and water in the pub. The fact that you go to a club with somebody does not mean you're going there to do what they do. You can sit there with your glass of Coke, juice, water, tea, and sit there and listen to the things that a lot of the uh, opportunities that I got from England to here did not come from just sitting at home and saying, I don't want any Oyibo friends. I don't want any Nigerian friend. I don't want any this friend. The fact is that when people get out of the workspace and they're sitting in a place where they're more comfortable, that's where they discuss everything. You go to a Christmas party with your boss. Your boss is now saying, oh, you know, over the next year, they're going to be laying off people. They're going to be adding this. There are going to be opportunities in this particular area. It's only the people who went along with her or him and sat there and had drinks and talked and laughed that will know of this opportunity. You're not going to sit in your house and know that. So don't get frustrated and angry or surprised when some people are getting on with life. The same people that you moved, immigrated with, they're getting ahead and you're not. It's all about the mindset. It's all about strategic thinking, planning, and taking actions that are going to help you. People don't just go to the pub with their bosses because they ain't got nothing better to do with their time. They're going there because who knows what could come out of that. So if you don't want to be lonely, if you don't want to be miserable, you have to open up your mind. Ikwamo, I'll let you summarize this for us, and then we can call it a day.
Well, I wanted to just reiterate what you just said about the workplace culture. I actually want us to do a session on that,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's important that we know what the limits are
Mm-hmm.
and what we can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a man listening to me, especially we African men, okay, please don't invite your fellow colleagues out to dinner or lunch
Hmm.
unless the person that you know is somebody who's also a full African who understand your African culture.
Hmm.
Okay. We West Africans, especially Ghana, Nigerians, and Ivorians, we understand that we can always hang out and have food and for a man to pay, and it's not a big deal. Okay. In some cultures, that's a big deal. Okay. So please don't do that. Okay. Just go to your workplace, say hello and bye, unless it's a work thing that all of you guys are going out. Okay, you can go out like that, but don't be singly inviting your fellow female colleagues out to lunch or to dinner by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that can be denoted as sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the way they define sexual harassment here is very veiled,
Hmm.
and it will shock you.
Hmm.
Like, I'm like, if they're in Ghana, most of African men will be in jail.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Most of our men will be in jail because of the way they define sexual harassment. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're new to this culture, you've been fortunate to get a job anywhere, please, your work female colleagues, they're not your friends. Okay? Don't be calling them. Don't be taking their phone numbers. Don't be like, just be very careful.
Hmm.
Okay? Be
Hmm.
very, very, very careful. Don't be complacent
Yeah.
because it can make or break you. Okay?
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
those are the things that we need to be very, very cautious about. Okay? So, but I think Sika, you and I, we should do a session on that, like workplace culture.
Sure.
And I'll see if I can kidnap some HR person. She's listening to me. She knows
Yeah.
herself
Yeah.
to come and help us in that discussion. Okay. So really, just to summarize everything, when we're coming abroad, please let's research first of all where we're gonna stay, what we want, what are our expectations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I think I had one last point in terms of the things that we can do. I know we talked about volunteering, joining a club, joining an association. The other thing also is strengthening the relationships that you already have.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Learn, some of us, we don't know how to maintain relationships,
Yeah.
right? Some of us, we only want to be in relationship only when it benefits us. That's a
Yeah.
wrong mentality.
That's right.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with maintaining and strengthening your relationship around people without wanting something back.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Without always only want to be in a relationship with someone only because it benefits you.
Mm.
If you do that, it will hinder your progress, and
Mm-hmm.
it will open the door for loneliness. Because if you come to me only when you need something, there's going to be a time when you come to me. If you call me, I will not even answer your phone.
That's right.
Because I know that the only reason why you're calling me is because you want something. I will
That's
not
right.
answer your phone,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Because I will think that you want to take me for granted,
Yes.
right? So please, let's strengthen the relationship we already have. Let's try and be positive. Let's learn to deal with, let's have a good sense of conflict resolution, right? Because if you don't learn to deal with conflicts, that also then that means that everywhere you go, you are causing chaos, you are causing malice, and then nobody wants to be your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
please, conflict resolution is very, very important. Oh, Sika, what you did, I did not like, right? Talk to the person, right? No need for you to backbite the person, no need for you to slam the person in the mud, no need to do all those unnecessary things, right? Talk it out, learn to forgive. Don't hold
Mm.
people in your heart. If you hold
Mm.
somebody in your heart and then the person wake up and the person is no more, what are you going to say to yourself? Nothing, right? So learn good conflict resolution. It's
Mm.
very, very important in
Mm.
order for you to strengthen the relationships that you already have. Some of us, we are just like, oh my God, I don't know. Some people, they think they are God. They will hold people in their hearts and their minds. Out of this one, I will never forgive them. This person did this to me, and I went to this church and they were mean to me, and I went to this association and I did all of this job. They didn't even appreciate me, and I was at the food bank, and that's where you both person looked me funny, said this funny to me. All of those things are not necessary.
Mm.
You should always be forging ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Always forging ahead. Don't get distracted by the little things, because those things are just little distraction, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
conflict resolution. And the last thing I want to talk to us about is learn to talk to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to talk to strangers. You know, sometimes some of us we become so much into our own world, right? You're taking the train. You see a very nice, decent person sitting beside you. Can you just say good morning to the person? If the person says good morning back, engage them in a conversation. You can start by telling them your name, right? Then after you be like, oh, where are you out? Like, what time? You can get into a deeper conversation with the person to see, maybe you might find out what the person do, right? They if you if what they do interests you, you say, okay, so how did you get into that field, right? By the time they start talking to you, you'll be able to learn one or two things, right? Maybe you might find out that you guys both have the same background in
Mm-hmm.
education, the same background in experience. Then you'll be like, oh, maybe I just came to Canada. I just came to the United States. I'm trying to find my foot, but it's good. Okay. Then the person can, what do you think I can do to help myself? Because I really want to move into the same industry I was in. Then you start engaging, right? Don't just be getting up. You are an Uber driver. You came here, your first hustling job is Uber driver. You pick up somebody from Banquet Hall. You pick somebody up from uh what you call it, TD Square. You pick the person up. You start saying, hello, how's your day going? Have that conversation. Don't just be sitting in there and just be like driving. How did your day go? Then you start engaging in conversations, right? People's destinies are being changed by triggering those conversations,
Correct.
right? You're always going to learn from somebody, right? You're always going to have an opportunity with someone, right? You came here, you got a job, okay? You have a manager in your office. Oh, you know, see, you don't need to ask them to take them out to coffee. On your way to work, you pass by Tim Hortons, you grab a cup of coffee, get it, and when you go, it's like, oh, I grabbed this coffee and you were on my mind, and I just wanted to just drop you this coffee, right? Try and find many ways where you can build relationship, right? And It's not in the biggest things that we do, it's in the small things that we do, right? So it's important. This is not Africa where people where there's a class system where the rich does not talk to the poor and the poor does not talk to the rich, and you need to ask permission to talk to somebody, and you need to ask permission to interact with somebody. If you're a driver and you're driving your master, you drive straight. You don't ask your master good. You always say good morning to your master. No, no, right? You shouldn't do that, right?
Mhm.
Interact and engage. Start a conversation. Hello, sir. How are you? How was your day? They'll be like, oh, you. Sometimes you know. I know Canadians. Most of them they'll be like, oh, you have an accent. Where are you from? Don't get offended. Just don't get offended. You should also know that just that you are also ignorant about some things about them, the same way they also might be ignorant about something about you,
Yeah.
right? You have an
Yeah.
accent. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Ghana. I'm from Nigeria. Oh, and then you continue with the conversation. The moment they say you have an accent, you get mad. Now you go back into the rabbit hole. That person can be somebody. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. So talk to strangers, right? On the bus, on the train, find there's always a friendly face somewhere, right? You might say hello to somebody and you might not say hello to back to you. It's not the end of the world, right? Your bus driver, hello, how was your day? How was the drive today? Right? Engage them. You never know. You might find wisdom in that conversation with them, right? So always find an opportunity to also engage a stranger. So, Sika, I'll just end with that.
Okay, just before we go, I just want you to put your nonprofit organization information on here. As you
Oh,
know, my sister is a huge advocate for STEM education, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. I haven't
Steam.
forgotten STEAM
Now it's
education.
Steam. Now it's Steam.
STEAM,
Yeah.
STEAM education, right? And she works with a lot of young people and trying to foster and encourage and promote, all these subjects to our young ones. They're the future generation after all. So if you want or are interested in knowing what she does, want to talk to her, there are more suggestions about what you want to bring your children, get involved, and you live in the Calgary area, please, please, please do not keep your children at home idle doing nothing. The more involvement and engagement they have, the better opportunities that they're exposed to in later life. For me, if you love me any ounce, please follow my YouTube channel. I beg of you. There's more
Oh,
than
yes.
63,000
Subscribe.
here. Subscribe to the channel, please.
Yes.
What are your last words?
Yes. So please don't forget to subscribe from Sika's YouTube channel. Okay, subscribe. And just as Sika was saying, I have a nonprofit organization because I'm very passionate about the next generation of Black Canadians. I want them to succeed. And when we talk about the transfer of wealth is not going to come to us. We need to go to it, right? So empowering the next generation through STEAM education is very vital in taking some of those wealth that we want to build in our society, in the Black community. So I highly recommend, if you live in the Calgary area, please. We do have classes. Our 4 classes is almost wrapping up. We're going to be having this a winter class. I was a little bit disappointed. I actually had a teenage class that I had done. I only had one registrant, so I had to cancel it, right? Meanwhile, our children are staying at home doing nothing. Please show them how to take the bus so they can take the bus to come to these programs by themselves. I have a lot of ideas and programs that I have lined up. Please join us. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at AEJF Canada. Okay, so you can follow us on Facebook so you can see the programs. We share the link there. Okay, and then you can also follow us on Instagram. Okay, you can also go out on our website. We also do have some merch that we sell. So we have hoodies, we have t-shirts. So you can inbox me if you're interested to support us. And wherever you are, I'll make a way for us to get a mail to you if you want to patronize and contribute to our cause. Okay, so you can follow us, you can subscribe, tell your friends. Also, for those of you who have Japa or are Japaring, okay, I do have someone who is highly skilled and very engraving in HR in the Canadian system, who does classes. We do it over Zoom, okay? So if you're interested, follow us. If you follow us on social media, the Zoom link will be available when the classes are starting. We usually just do the class for an hour and a half on Saturdays and sometimes Fridays. So please, also, you can just, send me a message and we will note you down. So whenever we're having classes available that is something that pertains to either adults or young adults, we will let you know. We will send you an email for you to be able to have the opportunity to register. Please, we want everybody to succeed. When we all succeed, then we can go back and then look back to our countries and see how can we help our countries, right? We don't want to come to the diaspora and also, struggle, right? And we don't want our children to struggle. I was very sad to hear the story of this 12-year-old boy in Ottawa that went to the other side because he was bullied in school, right? What are some of the social support systems, some of the things that we can do in our own community to help support kids who are coming in? I came here when I was 15, and it wasn't easy. It's not easy for a child you're raised in Africa to come and then go to school here, especially go to elementary and high school. When
Mm.
you go, they bullied you. Yeah, they bully you. I got bullied, but you know me, I'm Iron Lady. So if you bully me, you can't bully me, right? But not everybody is like me. Not every child is like it's like me. So we all need to be there. We have to keep our eyes open. So please engage all these organizations, engage your children, get them busy in doing a lot of these things. And one of the things that the last thing I want to share is that if you have a child who is struggling with self-confidence, please bring them to our programs. Okay, bring them, because when they come there, you're able to put the ideas on paper and replicate and do something. All of those things, they help boost a child's self-esteem, because now they are seeing themselves as innovators, they're seeing themselves as creators, they're seeing themselves as people who are capable of doing something. Don't
Mm-hmm.
keep your child at home. Okay, it's not for me, it's for you, right? If your child succeed, you also succeed. Okay,
Right.
please patronize the programs that we have. Some people have online stuff. Patronize them as well. And if you don't have anything, you can go into our website, you can donate $10, $5. You can also buy a merch and wear. The sweaters, they are very lovely sweaters. The t-shirts are lovely. They are H&M, and we use H&M and clothing, and then we have customized it for ourselves. So H&M have very good quality clothing. So please patronize us, and if you're interested in the merch, inbox me or inbox Sika and we'll get one to you. Okay. So also please subscribe to Sika's YouTube channel. I beg. And don't forget to share, send her some stars so that I'll come back next week.
Yes. No pay, no coming back.
No pay, no coming back. So I can come back next week to share with us some wisdom. Okay, we all want to make money, but we also need to walk in wisdom. Without wisdom, you cannot be able to accumulate wealth. Okay, let's walk in wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ekoamwa, for another, sensational time. I hope that we can organize and get the HR person on the live video soon and we can discuss that topic. It's going to be quite interesting and very informative as well. So have a lovely week, darling, and everybody else.
Thank
Have
you
a
too.
fantastic week ahead. God bless you all. Thank you so, so much for everything. Have a lovely week and take care. Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye.